So then I immediately grabbed my firearm. I'm thinking there's someone about to break in the
Hey
house.
everybody, I got another video for you guys. So let me go ahead and give you guys a really quick breakdown as to what this video is all about. A Baltimore, Maryland man by the name of Mark Chopper Manley. He also has a YouTube channel bearing the same name, Mark Chopper Manley TV. So his family and their home was violated on November 21st, 2024 at around 5 a.m. in the morning. And so this is when the ATF began an unsolicited raid of their home using flashbangs, rifles with infrared lights, loudspeakers, and all. Now, the reason for this, Mark believes, is the fact that he's first a black man. Next, he's the black man that's involved in his community. So he does community activist work where he teaches people about their Second Amendment rights, guns right, and gun safety, right? He's also a full-time teacher. He's a coach of the girls' flag ball team, amongst other great things, right? So he's just an all-around kind of, good guy, at least it seems. So let's go ahead and jump into this video and see what's really going on.
We got nothing here. And everybody's face just dropped in disbelief.
The ATF rolled up on their house, guns drawn, and tossing flashbangs into the home. Months later, the family still hasn't been told why.
He does charity work in Baltimore. He's an outspoken community advocate and has a large presence. 100 videos and over 309,000 people subscribe to Mark Chopper TV, his own YouTube channel.
We spreading unity, we spreading education through our community and just bringing everybody together, that's all.
And so just from the video footage that we see, you can tell that Mark is very proactive within his community. And so again, this is why Mark believes that the ATF showed up at his house, being that he's a black man that is very well versed with his Second Amendment right, and he utilizes it to the fullest.
Of course I'm gonna be under attack, and that's okay. I expected that, and like I said, we're gonna keep fighting. The government is definitely they're not black 2A. They're definitely not pro-black 2A. We're changing the lifestyle of our young brothers and sisters. Yeah. We're changing their mindset, and so it's important that we continue to come together like this. We've been losing our children out here. There's been no representation of unity. There's been no representation of change for our youngins. There ain't no more Malcolm X. There ain't no more Huey P's.
You got Mark Chopper. You got Mark Chopper. Tell them.
When we talk about what's at stake, everything.
That's exactly how I feel. That's exactly how I feel. Like I said, what they did was unforgivable, man. Me and my wife was up. We was getting ready for work in the morning. We're both school teachers, so we're up pretty early. She was in the living room drinking her coffee, and I was upstairs getting ready. And that's when my wife screamed my name and said, "Mark, someone's outside the house." So then I immediately grabbed my firearm. I'm thinking there's someone about to break in the house. So I look outside of the window and I see tactical units surrounding my home. So of course I then put my firearm down, and first thing I did was make contact with my children. Told them to get up. We got the police at the door. Everybody stay calm. So I went to the window and I said, "Hey, we're coming out."
Oh. Hello, police! The police! Police! This is the police with a warrant! This is the police with a warrant! Police with a warrant! Stay away from the door!
Seconds later, I hear my wife scream and I hear a bomb go off. And of course, at the time, I didn't know what it was, but it ended up being a flashbang because when I came downstairs with my children behind me, my wife was disoriented. Their peace has just been taken away from them in the blink of an eye. They never knocked or announced. And that's when I looked out the window, spoke to them, and that's when they realized, oh, he's up. Flashbanging me to be asleep. They're expecting me to sleep, and that's how I know there wasn't any real investigation. There wasn't any due diligence coming to my home because me and my wife are out the door at 5:30, 5:45 every single morning. It didn't make any sense to me Not for someone or agency that was doing an investigation on me. They would know that we are up at this time, and we we go to work every day. After I spoke to them, sneaking around for quite some time.
You can see in the video where they had guns pointed at the entire family, including the children, right? They had told his son that they would shoot him if he did not keep his arms raised. And I believe he said that his son was 14 or 15 years old. So, his son was traumatized. He was terrified of the whole situation. Actually, the entire family, it was a very traumatic experience for all of them, because he also said that he could see, 6 or so red dots that were pointed at his daughter's body. And of course, those lights were coming from the infrared lights that were on the rifles, right? He said he and his family outside in cuffs for like 20 or 30 minutes before they had allowed them back into the house, right? But he said they kept him cuffed behind his arms behind his back for like 3 hours, right? He said that his wife did get an apology, but he never got an apology. They had allowed the dogs to poop throughout the house, including in his daughter's bed. They bust open windows. The wooden floors were damaged, from the flash grenades that they used. And so Mark believed that they actually came for a fight, right? Expecting that he and his family would be asleep so early in the morning, and, that maybe they would have some upper hand. He said that they disconnected all the cameras inside the home. He said he believed the only reason they did not disconnect the outside cameras was because they would have had gotten on top of his roof. So he said that he believed that's the only reason why the outside cameras weren't disconnected.
At the time, I did not know what a flashbang was, so I said, "Is that a bomb?"
The first flashbang leaves a mark on the floor.
I just felt very confused, scared, and it messed with my anxiety. It definitely shook me up, woke me up.
They were threatening to shoot. I honestly felt like I could get shot, or I could at any moment. It was, traumatizing. It was like waking up to a bad dream.
Once I heard the flashbang, I didn't want anyone to be startled. I just wanted to get out the house at that point. That's when I put my hands up. I had the children and my wife put their hands up, and they followed behind me. We're walking outside. I see dozens of rifles pointed at me. They were given conflicting orders. They said, walk toward me. And then when I'm coming down the steps, they told me to turn around. But they were still saying, walk toward me. I'm mid-step. I'm halfway through the steps, and you guys are telling me to turn around while I'm on the steps. I remember feeling like, oh, they're trying to kill me. The officers say, turn around. When I turned around, I see red dots on my oldest daughter. It was like 6 red dots on her, and I just told the officers, "Hey, y'all are pointing guns at my daughter. You guys are pointing guns at my effing daughter." And that's when they finally grabbed her and they put her in handcuffs. We was outside for about 20 minutes. I was angry. Felt defenseless, vulnerable.
And so this is crazy, right? They are basically saying that they had gotten a tip from, I don't know, anonymous. And so they had been investigating he and his family for, some time. Okay. This is according to the FBI. This is what the ATF is telling Mr. Mark. And so Mark is saying, well, how could you guys had been doing any investigating? He said, well, any proper investigating, right? Because if you had been, then you would have some kind of credible intel, First, you guys would have known that my family and I are outstanding citizens within our community, right? That's the first thing y'all would have found. And secondly, you know, you guys would have known that with he and his wife, they are both school teachers, right? And they work together. So he's saying you guys would have known that, and y'all would have known that we would have been leaving out. So they would have been leaving out for work within like 40 minutes of this raid taking place, right? And this is why, you know, he and some of his children, they were awake at that time because he and his wife were getting ready for work. And he's saying, thank God that they were awake, because had he not been and they came into his home, you know, he would have woken up out of his sleep, maybe thinking that it was an intruder in the house. And he, you know, being a law-abiding citizen, utilizing his Second Amendment right to bear arms, he would have grabbed his gun, you know, thinking that he needed to protect his family. And again, this could have ended very differently.
I mean, they treated me like I was a terrorist. They came here for a fight. It almost feels like anyone that is a 2A advocate is a target. And I believe because of my large platform and my heavy artillery, it made me even more of a target. And of course, my activism.
And maybe even a more troubling part of this story is the fact that because they were feds, the family can't go after any of those agents in criminal nor civil court, right? Not at all. And so this is very, very, very disturbing when our federal government behave in such a way where they are violating law-abiding citizens' rights. And all of this with total immunity, right? Because I do wholeheartedly understand that if they can do this to this man and his family, we are not exempt. So too can they do it to our families. And for these reasons, I feel like we should try and expose the hypocrisies within our government by sharing this video. I'd like to ask you, if you enjoyed this video, to go ahead and hit that like button. Do consider subscribing to the channel. I thank you all for watching. And with all that being said, I'll be back with more unpopular thoughts.
2A advocate. I am a community activist. I do voice I use my voice to speak out against injustice. This could have ended up really bad, okay? I could have been asleep. My wife could have been asleep.